Good morning. All right, so my sound is screwed up. Let's see here. Let me fix this. All right. Default. All right. I don't know if that'll do it though. I guess it doesn't matter. You might not hear the actual. Well, we can. I know what we can do. Put that up. In the meantime, my charts are all screwed up, and I don't know why. I'll put that over there. And where's my Xeon? I've got all this shit everywhere. All right. I don't know what screwed it up, but I must have like saved a workspace when I didn't intend to. This needs to be over here. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. All right. So. Oh man, where's the volume profile chart? Dun 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 dun. There it is. There it is. Woo, bad start to the day. Okay, so yesterday, bloodbath. Overnight, pretty good range. This morning, moving down again. Treasuries, not all that concerned. But okay, whatever. I mean, Fed says they're not going to do negative interest rates, so I'm not sure why this needs to move. But it's a problem. If and people don't have a place that they can go and put their money safely. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, anyways, that's kind of where we're at. Come back over here. Hello, Dan and Ewo. How are you doing?
Speculator Seth Day Trading says test.
Okay, cool. So we fixed the audio. So, now, where are we at? Okay. So, we are still going to be scalping for points. We're going to do it all this week. I wanted to change something, though. Oh, I don't remember. I want to change something. I want to see the stacking and pulling. We change this to 8, I think it is. Oh, wait, that's not what I wanted. It's this right here. 8. Yes. And then I want the snapshot. The snapshot. The some of the columns are not going correctly. That's hilarious. What if I do this? Mm. Why is it different? Or the other columns just thinner, I guess. Trades. Where is it? Trade column. No, that's not it. Reduce smart Q conf on. That helps. Okay. Oh, it must be that this is the default is 11 and we want 8. That's it. Okay, cool. Oh, hey, it fits in there perfect. Okay. How come I'm only seeing the snapshot on the first few columns, though? I guess it's remembering earlier stuff. Okay.
Winston's mom says good morning, speculator Seth looking very serious. Good morning, gentlemen of day trading.
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to change it around here. I think I got it. Oh, you know what else we need to do is we need the power meters. I wanted the depth power meter, and I want all 10 levels that I can see. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Junior says good morning.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. All right, so we're going to be scalping for points again. I want to see, there are some situations where I'll see they'll just bust through a wall, and I kind of want to see if there's some maybe sign in stacking or something that indicates that they're going to do that. It looks to me at the moment, though, that the amount of stacking and pulling that I can see is not super significant. So, I don't know. Okay, so there's some right there. Anyways, so again, this is an exercise to improve efficiency in order placement. Trying to hit a 70% win rate, but in this wild market, it might be really hard to do that. So, with that in mind, where my treasure is at, coming up a little bit, slightly offered. There they're going for lows. Or they're eyeing it at least. And I could take that right there. Oh, sweet. Oh, wait. I got something screwed up. I did not have my correct strategy selected. All right. Yep, that one was bad. It's kind of funny. You can kind of tell sometimes because you're looking for like the absorption in a certain spot, and it doesn't do it at all. They go right through it. See, it's like right here. If they jump up to 2785 again, maybe they're not going to do it. Come on, give me the example here. Hmm. So it just kind of busts higher and through the liquidity that was trading there, and why? That time it didn't really. It didn't get the stops, I guess. Oh, we need to change the circle tuner here a bit. All screws up this chart too. That's funny. Well, that's okay. We can see what we need to see down there, which is a cumulative delta. So
Junior says you are trading the S. Are you sure it's in Sim?
it's in Sim. I'm trading it in Sim today. I'm probably not going to trade ES live for a couple of months, I don't think. Just because it's not, well, it's such a crazy market, man. And the summer chop is not very good for me. And that usually starts in May. We might have some really interesting trading this summer because it's going to be volatile, but it's still going to be summer trading. So, if I had something that I thought worked really well in summer, I'd absolutely go for it. And I think we'll continue to look for that sort of stuff. But for now, because kind of remember where I'm at is the thing that I think I'm good at is a treasury. And right now, because treasuries are already basically as high as they can go, there's not a whole lot of reason to trade those, because when I do well is when they're trading the treasuries up. So we're just kind of exploring other avenues while we're waiting for our market to come, it probably might be after this crisis, and then we can trade them down, which will be hard, but yeah, might have missed a good spot right there. But they're absorbing down at the bottom. Okay, so I'm seeing stuff adding and pulling down it below.
Kevin Wimmer says
low.
daily reminder that crude oil is an option lol.
I really don't think it is. I'll tell you what. I'll make a deal with you. We'll try doing this on oil next week if you would really like. But I don't think that oil really matches my risk tolerance.
Uzi Knesset says morning y'all.
Hey Uzi, how have you been? I haven't heard from you in a bit. Everything is going well down there in Florida? I hear that things are going well down in Florida. They might bounce here a bit. They're trying. They're close.
Uzi Knesset says man we're trying lol. I've taken like a month-long break from trading to deal with our business stuff.
Oh, really?
Kevin Wimmer says just the settlement is enough. I think it fits your risk tolerance. I mean if you use 8T stop in the Amini it is the same as 10T in oil.
Okay. On the settlement? Well, this the other thing is the settlement happens at a time that, yeah, this is a problem. I don't know. The thing is, when we ran into this in treasuries, my most profitable time in treasuries, there was two things going on that were unique about that. One was that I was working from home, so I was able to trade till 9:30 my time. So until the London close, basically, I was able to trade until the London close was one. And for some reason, during that time, I was catching really good trades in the treasuries.
Kevin Wimmer says, yeah, 925 minus 35. You already said you would miss the 1225 minus 35 one.
Because normally I have to get
Uzi
ready
Knesset
to go down
says
to
seems
work.
like we worked it all out. Things starting to normalize, so gotta put the boots back on, so to speak.
Yeah. Maybe they just keep us all work from home or let me work from home because it's way better for me to work from home than it is to travel down. Because I was traveling down to the Salt. We have like a Salt Lake office and a Sandy office, and the Sandy office is like much farther drive for me. But the other people on my team are in the Sandy office, so it's like me working from home or me working at the Salt Lake office are the same thing. But they wanted me to be at the Salt Lake office for whatever reason. But there was that, and then the other thing was is that I was using the News Squawk.
Uzi Knesset says hard for us to work from home with a cleaning company, lol. Had to rebrand everything for disinfecting services and whatnot.
But that's working. Do you get as much business as before? Like what percentage, or has there a drop? Could you like estimate what the percentage drop has been? Yeah. I think one of the mistakes I was making yesterday was trading in areas where the trend was more ambiguous. So right here, the trend is really ambiguous. They might be bouncing. They might just immediately turn back down for a new low.
Uzi Knesset says well, our business never really went anywhere. People were just pushing back appointments, some even paying us not to clean them.
Oh, really? That's interesting. You know, though, like one of the things that kind of concerns me right now is that I don't feel like that anybody has really had to face the consequences yet. You know what I mean? Like we shut down like the whole economy. We gave everybody an infusion of cash to prevent them from going bankrupt. But
Uzi
at some
Knesset
point,
says
somebody
but we
has to
just
face
went
the
from
music.
using regular household cleaners for cleaning to using only our disinfectant cleaner concentrate to clean everything.
Makes sense. Well, it's definitely business. My wife has made a surprising amount of money just sewing masks. And they keep coming, even though the Utah has a thing to you can get a free mask in the mail, and despite that, people still ask her for them.
Daniel Jardin says hi traders.
Hey Daniel, that's a new name.
Uzi Knesset says they threw a $106,000 PPP loan at us and we didn't take it.
Oh, really? Wow. Yeah. I really felt like that market rally was a bubble. But you never know. Like some things can just keep going forever. Only every once in a while that the doomsayers that really end up being right. But it seems like with starting yesterday, there might have been one of those instances. You know what I mean? It was pretty crazy.
Uzi Knesset says yeah, not worth it. That PPP is a trap. Only take it if you plan on paying it back because in the end, it is cheap capital. By the time we were approved, our strategic layoffs were already taken care.
So it's still a little slow here. I could take that right there. $9 billion
Uzi
into
Knesset says
repo.
government actually acted faster than banks did. Lol, how about that?
Right?
Ha ha.
No, you're totally right. Well, this goes back to the thing. I'm seeing a lot about the Democrat stimulus now, which I think is surprising because it's the same stimulus bill that everybody got pissed off at them for trying to propose back when like we really needed a
Twendog
stimulus.
says 2,786 was a great spot to sell, I guess.
Yeah. When we were up there when I was saying it was ambiguous. Not necessarily, because there was still some moves up. Now that we're going into new prices. Oh, that might not have been it either.
Twemdog says exactly.
You know what, Twemdog? I don't like you. I don't like you. Goodbye. You don't contribute anything useful. You're an asshole. Goodbye.
Uzi Knesset says, man, principally, all this free money is stupid as hell, but we gotta do what we gotta do for now. Democrats trying to extend it forever so they can get their centrally planned communist utopia.
Right. Well, this is the thing that I find really interesting. So, like, when we had the stimulus before, Democrats came out and they had this bill that was basically a Democrat pipe dream. And everybody said, stop playing politics. This is serious. We need a real bill and we need something that can actually pass. And so Nancy Pelosi acquiesced. The whole thing is really, they want the Republicans to vote a bill down. That's really what it's about. They want to put a bill out. They want to force the Republicans to reject it so that they can say, oh, they hate the layperson. Right? But the thing that I think is so funny is that so many people think it's for real. Like, all of these people on Reddit really think that, like, their communist utopia is about to happen. No. So, good example. Oh man,
Uzi
this is going to
Knesset
get you
says,
guys
yeah,
going.
pretty spot on there.
This is going to get you guys going. Joe Biden yesterday says, oh, renters shouldn't have to pay rent. Well, I mean, in principle, I want to agree with that. But when I look at the consequences, I don't see how we can. Right? Like, so you're going to let all of the landlords go bankrupt, and then they're not paying their mortgages. And then if all of the mortgage companies are gone, then all of the banks supporting those mortgage companies are gone. And then you have the 2008 financial crisis times 50, right? And we already know that the banks are too big to fail. So then, it's like it's hot potato. It's a game of class warfare, hot potato. Who's going to pay? Who are we going to stick with the bill? And they're trying to push it off onto each other over and over again to try and avoid having to pay the pain. But the reality is that everybody's going to have to pay the pain. Everybody is, right? So Joe Biden goes out and proposes this. I don't think that he actually believes it. I think that the left told him that the left would really like that. And it's true, the left will really like that. But I think that Joe Biden just destroyed his campaign, to be honest. Because his whole campaign message was based on, we need a steady hand during this crisis. And you're saying, oh, we're just going to take away property rights from people? You just completely undermined the whole argument for Joe Biden's campaign. Like, totally. It's not constitutional either. But man, the people on Reddit, they sure seem to think it's a great idea. They're not thinking this through. It's pretty insane. And it was like everything was hunky-dory until yesterday. And then they started bringing that up. Oh, we can't pay rent. Oh, okay. Nobody cared about it for the 2-3, the whole month before that. Now all of a sudden we're in a dire situation again.
Kevin Wimmer says we in Germany can skip paying rent from April to June, but have to pay it back up to 2 years later.
Okay. So they delayed rent. Delaying rent sounds like a proposal that might work. See, like you could delay payments, but if you just say that nobody has to pay,
Kevin Wimmer says yeah for 3 months.
That is that's the government voiding a contract. Like the social repercussions of that are insane.
Uzi Knesset says see and that's kinda what they're doing here on the local level. Delay everything, I said bump that, I've been paying everything like normal with savings.
Yeah.
Uzi Knesset says I'm not getting punched in the face down the line.
Well, but the unfair thing is that the way that things have been going, the people that were responsible may end up getting knocked down the line anyways. That's like, or like the other thing, the other one is like the student loan forgiveness. It's like, okay, great. Everybody that paid their loans, fuck you. I just that sounds good. Like this, where it's like, okay, yeah, that would help people. It sounds like a good thing to do, but not considering the societal repercussion of that.
Kevin Wimmer says so far no one I know used it though and still paid like always.
Like you start going down that road, why should anybody pay for anything? Like seriously, you're just undermining contract law. And who that with the renters thing, who would rent out? Or who would rent anymore? Who would want to be a landlord after that? The government can just come in and just undermine your whole business. Nobody would do that. Nobody would even want to build that stuff anymore. You'd have a huge housing shortage in the long run, I think, if you started doing that sort of stuff. Okay, well, so they went a little bit lower, but it wasn't a huge push down lower. So I'm okay with still trying to be a little selective here. Yeah, I'm not really seeing like a really good spot. I guess it's kind of slowed down a bit.
Uzi Knesset says I panicked for 2 months bro, not gonna lie but, looking back at it, we've made it okay, just on a diminished capacity. Had to get creative with finances and government cheese but, I think we may. Kevin Wimmer says 6 points below the daily low as last week's low.
Oh, is it?
Uzi Knesset says squeeze through this relatively unharmed.
Good job at Uzi. You're a smart guy. We're so lucky to have you. I didn't have to say. And I definitely missed you. But I knew that you was working on stuff, so I tried not to worry about it. It's actually, what's funny? You ever get like those coincidences? I think it's just confirmation bias, but I was thinking about it yesterday because we were kind of arguing where we're at right now. Again, is 10 years is just not very fertile ground right now, so we've been investigating other things. And I think I've maybe found some.
Uzi Knesset says just need to get back in this trading groove, tongue out.
Yeah, I feel like I got some things in the E-mini, but not enough to really be comfortable with it yet. And so I'm still looking for stuff, I'm still trying to look into things. I think what I'm doing right now helps, but part of the reason it helps is because it becomes a little bit more clear to me the spots where I really don't know. Right here, I'm just not confident in my ability to determine what the trend really is right here. The larger trend is down, but we're kind of on a little bit of a pullback, and maybe we go down to make a new low, and maybe we don't. And it just kind of looks kind of slow. It looks like I'm worried about getting caught in chop. So now I'm gonna have to go back and say, okay, what can I do to try and really read these areas? That right there might be it. Well, I did that last time too. It's actually giving me longs for some reason. I don't necessarily like to take that one as an initial entry. That was intended to be a continuation point. Hmm. Anyways, so we were talking about it, and I was thinking back on what I gotta do. I think one of the things was that I just relax a little bit. I need to be a little bit more zen and just not care. I'm just kind of keep wandering around and hope I find something good instead of trying to be super hardcore about it all the time. Because maybe what's happening is maybe my ADHD is just kicking up and I'm looking for variety, and so I'm trying to find it by over absorbing myself into trading. And maybe I just need a new thing to occupy myself for a little bit to satisfy that um, novelty, the desire for novelty. Hmm. So it seems to me like the absorption is favoring the sellers, but yeah, it did really slow down too. Ford cites it would like to redeploy dividend as soon as it is practical to do so. Okay. Ooh, some of the largest companies in New York City are starting to embrace permanent work from home arrangements, setting up a potential reckoning for the city's real estate and economy. Oh my gosh, that just it hits me like, oh my gosh. City centers are screwed. Like how much of our economy has been poured into city centers lately? It really has been a city center versus rural economy. And if companies really truly make this switch to everything is remote, then oh man, they're screwed. The default there in ES is kind of gives me black. It's interesting. But they're going up for this liquidity that's up here around 85, huh? Mm-mm. Oh, what's Jeffrey said? For decades, approximately 25% of submitted claims for unemployment benefits were deemed qualified. At present, about 75% of these are deemed qualified. It sort of suggests that 2/3 of the stimulus funds are leaking out. I don't know about that one, Jeffrey. Probably you're going to have a lot more legitimate cases and less fraud. Just because, like, who is actually that would be doing fraud would actually be employed right now. Another 2 months, another multiple trillion-dollar relief package proposal. It would bring in the running bailout so far in just 3 months over 150% of federal taxes collected in all of the most reporting year. Long-term consequences, not so long-term anymore. Mayor Garcetti said, "We will never be completely open until we have a cure." It was reported, he said, the city of Los Angeles won't fully reopen until there's a vaccine. A cure is not a vaccine. Why not just report the truth, media? Okay. What else? There's been a lot of chatter over this last night. I'm just looking through it. Look at that move up was that kind of confirms that 85 level was, I was right to be cautious through there. Since my heart attack, I've made major adjustments in my life and also made the same promise to myself: if I ever stop trading, is because I want to, not because I have to. Protect your mind, your body, and your capital so you can trade as long as you want and leave on your terms. After blowing accounts early in my career and being forced out of business, I swore to do everything I could to never be forced out again and leave trading on my terms. Years later, my heart attack came. I went through some depression thinking that once again I would be forced out. Oh, that's interesting. I have to say, like, if I like straight up couldn't trade, like not even on sim, I don't know what I would do with myself, man. It's like when you make your purpose trading and then you can't do that thing. That's rough. Have to completely reinvent yourself. I continue to use one lot feelers to feel the market environment and how I want to trade. Great responses to my indications. I keep trading and potentially trade more aggressively. Unfriendly responses, I trade less or don't trade. Well, how are we doing? We took 3, right? No, we took 4. We took 4. And we're doing good so far. Well, there was a pretty good spike down there, but I'm still, well, the treasuries are up. They're not like bid. So I kind of run into this yesterday. So the treasuries, the 10-year, the thing that makes the treasuries so difficult right now is the liquidity is definitely with the offers. I guess a lot of it is just because of this one big guy right here, but then like what, we got 19, 20, and these are all like 17s except for these. And then when you look at the stacking, it's slightly in favor of the offer, right? But then the trend is on in favor of the buyers. So there's kind of like they have the ability to move up. I think I missed it. Yeah. I could get lucky, but I don't think so. Yeah. Oh, but it's so close. They didn't trade it, huh? Thank you. Yeah, there it goes. Okay. You see that those 3 ticks up right there? That's got to be a stop run, right? Anyways, so what it kind of means to me is that what I see here on the DOM ends up not mattering in the 10-year, right? So there are other forces at work. Like the euro. Yeah, dollar's not really moving a whole lot this morning though. 2s and 10s are flattening. Knob is really flattening.
Jacoby OG says good morning.
Maybe if I really wanted to do this analysis, I would need to have all of my treasury charts up. Because they're going to be selling the treasury anyways. That might explain why they've got the offers out there like that. No. It's a little too slow. More against me than in favor of me. I think that one was not necessarily that it was a bad trade, as it was just like a bad location in general. It's the time of day. I don't know. Actually, Okay. Yeah, so there's one thing that kind of would be telling me that, hey, now might not be the right time. It does kind of feel like that it's turning around. Right there, it's like, yeah. There's a lot of profit taking around there, though. I think that last one was really the way you want to see it work, right? Barely filled. Barely filled. Went right to where we wanted. It wasn't anything super crazy or anything. Good numbers coming out of the states that are opening. America is getting its life back vaccine is looking very promising before the end of the year. Likewise, other solutions. Yeah, except for that it's only been a week, Donald. Oh, this is another thing that bothers me is I'm seeing a lot of news stories about preliminary numbers out of the states that opened up, like Georgia and Florida. And the incubation period for the virus is 2 weeks. So really, you would want to see 2 weeks incubation. All of those people pass it on to other people. And then after 4 weeks, you would really start to see the true impact in terms of like the rise in cases. And then you could maybe start to do your reanalysis to see, how much of a danger to the hospitals that is, right? Okay, so uptrend is a little bit more clear. We're not above where we started. Oh, wow, we really got to get all the way to 95 to get above where we started? Well, okay. People talking about Chinese trade war again is also another thing we probably need to keep on our radar. I must have it, guys. Good grief. Okay. They're suggesting right there. But I don't know. Like, they're getting through it a little bit too. And I'm noticing that they're doing it in the micros, but not the E-mini. Seems like I'm not the only person doing this right now. Yep. See, this might turn into he's going to push it down through here and blow these guys out. I don't know how to tell when it's going to happen. I just see it potentially there. I mean, it's there on this side too, but this is the one that is like we expect, right? Because the trend has been up. So this is the one on the other side where they lose. And I'm seeing more absorption over here than I am over here. Oh, you know what? It's probably because this one doesn't have the clear trade set to the same thing. Yep. 10, 0. Okay. ECB's Villeroy says we will not allow adverse market dynamics to lead to unjustified interest rate increases in some countries. Somebody's talking about increasing the interest rates? What? Okay, well, that one looks a little better. I missed it. Nope, I guess not. Okay, so I'm seeing some signs of there might be they're going into price discovery mode again.
Junior
There
says,
it
how
is
can
right
you
there.
see it's in price discovery mode?
I'm just there's like a pickup in activity and the orders appear to me to be trying to push into new prices. 'Cause to me, price discovery, I mean, we can't really see because I still have this stuff from earlier, but let's just go like that, right? Right? To me, price discovery means stuff up here is getting touched, right? So when I start to see impulses that come in with a little bit more volume, I look at it and I say, okay, he's trying to get to new prices. They're not just fading the sides of it anymore. But when you get that, you'll get it both ways, right? Like we can like just clear it right here, and we'll see they're probably going to try and push it down as well, right? And yes, that bar ended up being an outside bar. Okay. Not because they weren't done with that one.
Junior says, is it the same as hunting for liquidity?
Sure. Sure. I don't know if it's necessarily so much that they're looking for liquidity so much as it is that they're just saying, okay, like now there's enough people in positions, I should be able to stop people out in one direction or the other, right? Hmm.
Block sell.
I'm a little bit too much on the edge. Wow, the treasury is really sold there. And they're bid a little bit again. So I want to try this experimental trade here. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I just want to hit into it. Okay. I'm just going to give it like a really wide stop just because I don't really want to watch it. Now it might move down another 4 ticks. So oh, that was a bad fill. Very bad fill. It very rarely does it go against me and then it goes up and gets the thing. Like, we're going to keep doing it like that, but. Okay. So that time they used a lot of volume to do that. And it didn't go. So then it turns back the other way. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. This treasure tick back down there, though. Yeah. $722. Like, this is spot looks like a spot where I could get some acceleration, but it's not happening right there. We're having a hard time getting filled up there. May just be the time of day. Quite a bit going into 09.5. Hmm. And look at that, the 88.25, and I see 8. That seems incredibly odd to me. Okay. And the Treasury is kind of doing some weird flippy stuff right now. Okay. Still signing kind of the same thing up there. Hmm. Okay. Still didn't just bust through though. Interesting. I want to see him go through a little bit. So that area is not finished, basically. Oh, I had like 4 in a row there that were bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No. 8. So it's not bad. It's close. But that was kind of what I was thinking anyways, right? So it kind of went in, it did go into price mode for a bit, and then it came back up and it's really slow again. Maybe they're just going to wait for the open, I guess. All right, we got 2 minutes to the open. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to do a new segment. We call this the daily quoting from the rules of acquisition here before the open. What do we have today? Rules of acquisition number 99. Oh, you can't really see it, can you? Well, it says trust is the biggest liability of all. Yeah. So there's your rules of acquisition for today. Okay, now they're doing it a little bit again. Looks like some people trying. Okay, so they did bust out. They did bust out the top side of that in the end. That was like when I took that last one and I got filled on it. I really expected it to go through me quite a bit, whereas it filled me. It didn't really. The range wasn't over yet. It's really been quite. I'm suspecting that on the open there's going to be a bunch of people trying to buy it. we'll see how it turns out. But just the way that they've been going before the open, I think that some people are going to try and buy it expecting a rebound of some sort. On the other hand, they may just, okay, well, let's see how it turns out. Okay, so a decent amount of interest on the open, but no clear side. Not yet, at least. Buying a little bit more impressive than the selling, though. Right there would have been fine. Don't know about that one. They wanted lower than that. Yeah. It's too fast. Okay, well, that was pretty good for the buyers. Oh, jeez. Cool. Oh, that one turned out way better than I thought it would. This area I'm not too fond of yet. Treasury ticked up, huh? Could do it there, but need my targets now. Interesting. Treasury's up 2 ticks and even threatening a third. This ends up closing lower and going below the open. That's not necessarily a very positive technical pattern. Feeling a little sleepy. Why do I get like this? I thought like I got to bed early yesterday. And I still get this sleepiness. Yeah, okay, so that was an outside bar canceling out the upside there. That's not positive. Ugh. Okay, well, so there's 2780 on the bottom side was the last kind of pivot low. So I'm not gonna, man, creating the first pivot high on the 1 minute chart like that is just not a positive thing. And the treasuries are ticking up. 10-year is just bidding up easy too. Like, look at the ticks that we've made. Easy ticks, 1,000. Okay, well, I heard a click there. So something might be changing on us here. Look at that. Offers pulling. If they had ticked that up, it might have ticked up on only 800 orders. Okay. So this spot looks tempting, but it's got quite a bit of trade going through there at the 85 area again. Okay, so we got a pivot, almost certainly a pivot low on the 1-minute chart now. That's a really, really tight open range. Treasury did tick down there. Hmm. Is that just because the 5-year ticked up? Huh. So I'm seeing something in the 10-year that's a little confusing to me. So I was getting a little concerned, but now it's ticking back up again really easily. I think. Oh, and the yes. Ugh. Okay, well, when I see things like this, um, sometimes what happens is they end up messing with us a ton. Like, it'll be like really tight and messy here in the E-mini and hard to predict which way it's going to come out of it. Like, the Treasury didn't
Bot
really
says
have an
VIX targets
explicit
for the ES
reason
this
to.
morning, plus 50% 2,820.85, plus 100% 2,853.44, minus 50% 2,755.65, 100% 2,723.06.
Man, those all seem so far. So are they going to make a new low here on the bottom side is the question. I think they will. I think that we're getting an expanding range. Oh, it's so close. Well, if they didn't, then I would buy there. But actually, just do that. But like the 10-year, easy. Yeah. Okay, there it is. Now the last pivot again was 80. Haven't gone through that yet, nor has this ticked up. Then below that, the overnight high low at 27.77. I think they're going to do it, but you can see that the sellers are having a hard time making it happen. There's actually quite a good number of people fading it. One more. There you go. Okay. By a tick.
Bot says VIX closed last night at 34.94 and opened this morning at 37.41.
Oh, really? Now that is really interesting, John. Now on the split side, the 2s and 10s flattened. That's kind of our other proxy for risk and volatility. Well, let's see if they go for the overnight low. It sure looks likely here. Oh, whoops. Hold up. I forgot that I got out of it. Okay, cool. Pulling there. Okay, it ticks up, no problem. That was a bad hit. Bad hit, yeah. Hmm. They're battling it. Treasury's still going up. Whew. Okay. I think that one was a little bit of luck. That one made me a little bit tense. I've been trying to be really relaxed today. I need to. It's like right in here, kind of like seizes up. Gotta relax. Okay. Pretty good dip there. So that was below the overnight low. So I think that gives them pretty good free reign to keep going. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Hey, John, you should post those in the equity indexes. I'll do it for you today. They are really, the VIX is really projecting a volatile day, though, isn't it? They're trying hard to cause a recovery, but the downside is just way too heavy. Well, the cumulative delta is definitely showing that the buyers are absorbing a lot of contracts. Okay. I know that one.
Bot says it was certainly projecting a move lower based on those earlier numbers.
Oh, yeah. So just on that trade right there at 13, I've had this before. We're 8, we're 9, we're looking for 8. It's very often that I will get 8, and then I can't get more than that. But they were pulling at 13, and it looked like it was going to go higher. Last time we ticked up at 13, it did. It did just like this, right? 700,000, and then it traded back down. Comes back up. Iceberg there. I immediately went out of that. Somebody's taking profits there, and I don't know what's going to happen. And it's I've had this very many times where that happens right there, and I don't get my 8. That said, when you see an iceberg like that, it's not uncommon for them to go through it for at least 2 ticks. It's just the chances of me getting filled at 14 is dramatically less than. Okay. Well, John says they're certainly projecting a move lower. Certainly look like they're getting it. Is there a way to adjust the scale so that, yeah.
Bot says so you're back to trading the 10-year.
No, I just took an experimental trade there. I mean, I still think that in the long run, I want to still stay an expert on the 10-year. Well, I guess it was somebody was saying, like how much effort you have to put into it. You're gonna have to pick something, be really consistent, and become the foremost expert on it. And I feel like that the one thing that I've become pretty knowledgeable about is the 10-year. And I think that there are a lot of things about how that instrument moves and that you kind of need to know to watch the 10-year that fit me well, right? You have to be able to watch the spreads. You have to be able to watch the correlations. You have to know when the order flow matters and when it doesn't. And you have to be able to do advanced analysis on the order flow that might be hard to do just from looking at the DOM. And so those are all things where I feel like probably I can develop a better edge in the 10-year. But it's just like right now, it's not necessarily the most fertile market, is it? Like if we were like full on in a recovery and the treasuries were starting to sell hard, then giddy up, man. Let's do it. But no, I think that we need to diversify a little bit. So we're doing the E-mini. This experiment in the E-mini has been good today. How much? What is it when we take out? So have to 42. Well, one of them was big, so I'm really up 2 trades, 2 or 3 trades. I was down 2 trades yesterday. But you know what? If I'm getting it as like even, then that's okay. I think the thing that might be, well, I think it's possible to do 75% win rate, but I think that there are pieces that I'm missing to be able to do that. Okay, so they did get to the 8. That iceberg like that scares me. Oh, the bid actually increased? So when I took it out, the offers were starting to equalize, and then the bid has increased, so they seem to be saying higher again. In fact, where could they go to? Ooh, I really like it on that tick chart, as opposed to this 1-minute chart. I think I might just start watching it that way. The bid is increasing. 16 is the local high. Point of control 18. Absorption 14.5 blowing through it. Is this it?
Bot says, are you talking to one of your pets? I ask only because you seem to be whispering some of your comments.
Oh, am I not speaking very loudly? Am I not speaking very loudly? What was I talking about that you missed? I asked, is this it? They didn't do it that time.
Bot says, who the hell knows?
Okay. They selling that hard. What was the downside target? 55. We'll call it V1.
Jay Constance says, so Bitcoin's still going up. What's the difference, Tether being printed or the Fed printing money? The Fed can't back up the amount they are printed either.
Well, that most recent move up, I'm not sure if it's Tether or not. I think this thing from like 7,000 to 9 was Tether, but some of this might be momentum now, you know?
Bot says, no initial pivot low yet on a 5-minute chart, still looking for the floor.
Some absorption there at 2765. Got out. Cool. Relax. they're creating a tense situation right here. They're trying really hard to bounce now, and it looks like they'll get it, at least a little bit of a bounce.
Antenna Wild says the Fed backs up their fiat money with the military. Without U.S. military dominance, the dollar is worthless.
I don't think it's just the military. I think it's the U.S. economy, right? They back up their fiat money with the full faith and credit of the United States, which, when you think about it, is really the U.S. economy. The U.S. economy and I guess their promise that they'll be honest. I don't want to take that one because of the way that they absorbed F-14.5. I'll be disappointed if they do the level break without me, but it's okay.
Antenna Wild says what percent of the economy is military?
Well, that's a good question. It's a percentage. It's not the largest percentage. Let's search. Defense outlays amounted to $622 billion US in
Antenna
2018.
Wild says roughly 10%. That's huge.
Which was about 3.1% of the US GDP. So no, probably it's way more percent of the like the budget or something like that. They said military expenditure was 3%.
Jay Constance says in Holland maybe 0.5% of the economy is military. We have 10 tanks and 2 jets.
Mm-hmm.
Antenna Wild says Gaddafi was trying to get Africa on a gold-backed currency, that's why we took him out.
If you say so, Antenna. Yeah, they're definitely trying to bounce it here. But are they going to succeed? Because these bears look pretty determined. Determined is not the right word. They don't care. I think that these guys that are selling here, I mean, maybe not necessarily here on the future, but like out on the stock market, you know, if somebody comes in and tries to hold the market, they'd be grateful to have somebody to try and hold the bag for them. You know what I mean? Oh, there's a COVID-19 survival calculator. This calculator estimates. Let's look at this.
RJ Wheel says Saddam wanted oil to switch to euros.
And I don't think that any of those things have ever really been a real concern. This calculator estimates your risk of infection and mortality from COVID-19. To do this, we use data you're about to enter on the page and your location. Cool. I am very worried. I'm going to say no. I'm taking steps. Yes, I am. People that I live with are. Yes. Sometimes. Yes. What type of mask do you have? Cloth? Homemade. Oh my gosh. Oh wait. It wants me to know. Oh, okay. Now we'll put that stuff in later. Some of that is, yeah, okay. Health factors. Have you been, no.
Jay Constance says the assassination of Soleimani was also because he would take over the regime.
Your chance of getting it, I think, is 60 to 70%. 0 to 10% chance. Yeah. No, don't contact me about stuff. Okay, hold on. Let me fill out the private details here. The type is O positive.
Bot says I agree with it. Antenna. While the fiat money is backed by second and third mortgages on the Army, Navy, Air Force and Marines equipment, rolling on the floor laughing.
Man, it wants to know your drug use and stuff. No. I guess the only thing on there that was really private
Luis
was
Alarid says Pompeo in Middle East continues peace plan.
two people.
RJ Wheel says China benefits too from American military maintaining order.
Okay, calculate. Okay, we're gonna find out how likely I am to die. Okay. We estimate you have a 22% chance of catching COVID. You have a 0.5% chance of dying. Hey, that's about what I think it should be. Okay, cool. I think it works. I think this calculator works. In the meantime, Unity is still kind of battling it out there. But they didn't hit it, right? It was 14.5 was where I got in, right? Blah, 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 blah.
Luis Alarid says sign petition against our 6,666. Scary stuff.
The problem with this setup right here is that if they do it, you probably have to be sitting here with an order on the bid to catch it. Now I can do it. Okay. Well, the E-mini sure is trading a bunch there. Oh. Well, that's not good. Go do it. They're not done yet. No, sir. They got those lungs right where they want them. Ooh, this could be an ugly turn down. Well, I guess that's all. Not that particular push, not particularly impressive.
Antenna Wild says HR 6,666. You can't make this shit up. Orwell's nightmare is coming true.
Sounds to me like you're concerned about nonsense that's never gonna amount to shit. I can't tell you how long. My whole life, people saying, oh yes, the petrodollar is going to collapse. Never happens. Silly. Yes, they took out one dictator because that one guy that's always been a distrustful nation completely threatens the dominancy of the dollar. Are you kidding me, man? Okay. So E-mini's still not really making a decision here. They kind of suggested lower and didn't do it. Well, they did go lower, but it wasn't like super impressive. The treasuries are still kind of bidding up. I just want to see a level break in the 10-year. I haven't seen that in such a long time. There's so much fun.
Luis
See why the
Alarid says
buyer's
VIX
doing it
rising.
again. Is the VIX rising? That's not good. I mean, if they reach their targets for today, well, if they reach their first target today, it's not necessarily the end of the world. But if they reach their other target, whoo. Okay. So they took that and they absorbed. I think we've got a good chance here. You should look at the numbers they're trading there, though. They are doing thousands here at 69, 27.69.
Josiah Gregory Mantaring says good evening from Philippines.
Hey, how are you? I have some friends in the Philippines. They're all quarantined up too. Well, the buyers are gonna get their kind of. That was a pretty good move up there.
Luis Alarid says como esta ka.
Yeah, that sucks. That one's gonna be a loser, huh? Yeah. Hmm. Flickering a lot there. Cool. Well, the treasuries are staying mid up here. And look at the 5-year. Nah. That's not how we want that to play out.
Antenna Wild says the Fed can't prop it up anymore without another authorization from Congress. Both parties will pass another stimulus. There's no way the country can handle this level of unemployment without it.
I don't know about that one. So, first of all, because one, they're supposed to be opening things back up. If we close things back down, then it's definitely a problem. Two, if it's so essential for it to happen right now, why isn't a serious bill being put up? Because that nonsense that the Democrats put out yesterday is not it. Right. Okay. Wish I hadn't have done that twice, but oh well. Wait, did I do that twice? Yeah. It's okay. Darn. Well, that's too high. That one will be close.
Antenna Wild says the initial bills are just political. The real bill will come out soon enough and provide more cash for the biggest corporations as usual, and the rest of us will get another $1,200.
So I'm also really skeptical on another stimulus check. I think they're just saying that. But you have to look back at the last stimulus check and be like, okay, did it really help that much? Well, you might be able to blame that stock market rally on the stimulus check, but did it like fundamentally help people that are that are unemployed and stuff? No. And so, I think that there'd be a real question about the utility of that. Like, are we really getting our money's worth there? And I just don't think they can justify it right now. But if we're like down at the lows again when this is all happening, who knows what they can do? The markets can get all sorts of crazy things when they're throwing a temper tantrum, They're going too far a little bit.
Antenna Wild says all the experts are warning if we
I
open
need
up without
to
a vaccine there will
adjust.
be a resurgence.
Well, of course there will be a resurgence. Of course there will be a resurgence, Antenna. Did anybody ever say that? That people like... Does anybody think that they're going to open everything back up and then a month from now the number of coronavirus cases in the United States is going to go to 0? Does anybody believe that? Raise of hands? No. Didn't think so. That's stupid. Right? We're flattening the curve, right? What does that mean? What does flattening the curve mean? I don't want to participate in this area. I need to distract myself here. Flattening the curve means instead of this,
Kevin Wimmer says I raised my hand just to deny your point.
you get this. Right? But really what we're doing is that we're going to be like this. Really what we did is we really flattened the curve. We're going to release restrictions. You'll probably get a bump up and then a trail off like that. You might even get a higher rise in cases, but as long as hospital utilization rate is there, you're doing the right thing. Right? Because the whole issue here is you can't wait for a vaccine. Vaccine's going to be way out here. We'll all starve to death before that happens. So you're going to get a little bit of a resurgence. It's going to freak people out, but as long as you don't reach hospital capacity, you're fine. No big deal. Let's see if they're a little more favorable here now. I'm not so sure. Maybe it's just because I'm trying longs. Oh, are they taking this up again?
Antenna Wild says I wouldn't say no big deal when the death rate is 6%.
That's not 6%. The death rate's not 6%. The death rate in the end is 0.5. Your numbers that you're using to determine those are not there's still unknowns on those because of the testing, right? 5% is probably high. If the death rate was as high as that was, then things would have been a lot worse already, right?
Eric says take out New York, which is an outlier, and it's lower than that.
Yeah. But the whole thing is I think New York probably would be in line at 0.5% if you actually knew how many people had it. Darn. Okay. I think I should take a little bit of a break. I did the right thing by adding on to that one.
Kevin Wimmer says well it is if you go by worldometers. 85,533 deaths divided by 1,433,329 cases, asterisk 100 for percentage equals 5.96%.
But the point being made was, I wouldn't say no big deal when the death rate is 6%. If you're trying to predict how many people are going to die in the long run, the death rate by case number is not a useful metric, because that is only reported deaths, and we all know that not all of the cases are really being reported. So you come out of it. I think it's interesting. They're saying that like the worst case scenario was like 2 million, and the good case scenario, if we close things down, is going to be 100,000, 1 to 200,000. Right now, it looks like we're going to hit 100,000. But this probably lasts until the fall and then beyond. I think that 200,000 is low as well. There's going to be a lot of deaths. But again, this idea out there that you're going to shut everything down and save everybody is insane and stupid. They're lying to you. They put you under this idea that is unrealistic. You will starve before that happens. What's really going to happen? Y'all going to catch it. Y'all going to catch it. And the best thing that they can do is make sure that you don't all catch it at once, so that you don't overflood the hospital. Okay? Just bake that into your projections already. That's what's going to happen. Almost guarantee it.
Luis Alarid says, why the scare with over 90% recovery rate?
So, if you're all going to catch it, the only thing that matters, like literally from a government policy perspective, the only thing that matters is if you reach hospital capacity. That's it. That's it. Okay, I need to take a break. Okay. So they're looking bullish. No, missed that one. Look at that. Oh, it didn't drop. There we go. Oh, darn. So given that we did not hit the downside target, we came about 5 points short. I wonder if we will get like it'll start to look really, really positive and then get cut down again. Getting really frustrated by these longs. Okay, I guess that's just 2 of them. It's fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not necessarily good. Okay, interesting. Mm, that one's a little too hard. I'd be suspicious about that one. You're gonna get some. They're gonna do something weird, unexpected thing. Mm.
RJ Wheel says, is it coincidence the virus 95% recovery rate is the same as the trader fail rate?
Yeah, the way that I would do my calculations is 0.5% overall, and then if hospital capacity is reached, then the deaths after that, 10%.
Block by.
So I did that math in New York, and it did a pretty good job of predicting how much you were going to get. But the thing that I find so interesting about it is that even though my number came in right, they didn't come even close to hospital capacity. So why was it they have enough cases but they don't that they didn't reach hospital capacity, right? Like there's still something underlying in the data that doesn't quite add up. Apparently, the Chinese yuan is moving again today. Maybe a significant turn there. Oh. Oh, curious.
Kevin Wimmer says one thing many people seem to forget that it isn't only death and recovery. Maybe there are also some cases of permanent damage? Like for instance there was an article about 6 German divers.
So,
Kevin Wimmer says whose lungs are permanently damaged after COVID-19.
the thing that bothers me about that one, of course, if you have a severe case, then your lungs will be damaged. Because your lungs get damaged by pneumonia, right? But there's all of this speculation out there about like, oh, what if it affects your nerves and what effects can it have on kids? And then I'm like, well, why are you acting like that's
Block
the likely
by.
case when we have no evidence that that's the case right now? You know, it was just like the thing with the weather that at the beginning we said, yeah, their transmission rate is going to decrease significantly when the weather gets warmer. And they said, well, we don't actually know that's the case. We don't have to know that that's the case. That's the default condition. That's what every other coronavirus is like. Why should we go in with the assumption that this one is not going to? The most likely case is that it is affected by the weather. And what have we found out? It is very significantly so. So the one thing that concerns me, I think that what's going to happen is like Georgia and Florida, they've opened up and the preliminary numbers look pretty good. And really, we need like a couple more weeks to really know. But I think that even in a couple more weeks, you're going to find that, hey, it's not so bad. And you know why? Because the weather's good. So I'm concerned that what's going to happen is we're going to open things up completely and think that it's all over. And then you get the fall wave when it gets cold again and the transmission rate goes back up. That's what concerns me. That one looks okay. Cool. Like, can you get above 2779? Strong performing funds nabbing senior investment talent, including Veriton Fund Management, with hires of PM Matt Polyak, formerly with Millennium Couching Capital, James Orego, an equity statistical arbitrage PM from Ronin Capital, and Mahat Vero from Bluecrest Capital. Interesting. You're probably going to see a really big realignment in the industry because some funds are doing really poorly. In fact, my understanding is that the majority of like CTAs and everything are doing poorly. What's this? Somebody showing me their sim trades. Oh, that looks really good.
Kevin Wimmer says, is there a way to see how many hedge funds are in the US?
It's a good question, Kevin. I don't know. Well, you could go to you can go to the CFTC and you can look at all of the registered entities in the CFTC database. That might be kind of similar to what you're talking about. I don't know about that one. It was 2782.
Jake Jacoby says California did a study around antibody tests that they completed. They took those new cases and calculated the mortality rate based on the new individuals who tested positive for the
Yeah.
antibody.
I remember that study, but
Jake Jacoby says it made the mortality rate in line with the flu. 0.16%.
I remember that one, but I'm not so sure that's accurate either. So one of the things that I think that they're having an issue with is the accuracy of antibody tests right now. So I
Jake
don't
Jacoby
think that
says
we
only
can
for those
really
younger than 45.
I don't think that we can really call that one conclusively. Well, for younger than 45.1, yeah, you might be right. You might be right. So another thing that I'm noticing, something that I think is a problem, in our analysis, is that the majority of the cases coming from nursing homes. Like if one person gets it in their nursing home, then the chances are that they're all goners. And one of the things that happened in New York was they basically forced everybody into the nursing homes, and then they all got sick and died. So I I'm told that that's part of why it's so bad over there. Okay, missed it. Was a little slow on the draw there.
Jake Jacoby says there is the graph.
You can't. If you post a link, we won't see it. Sorry. You should post it in Discord.
JB says everyone points to flu mortality rates, but are missing the fact that transmission rates of COVID are higher than flu, thus why deaths go up.
What is he? This guy is showing me some stuff. It looks like he caught a runner that. Right there, maybe, but that's a little bit too much. Nope. See, that's exactly what I was afraid of.
Luis Alarid says I asked my friend that lives in a seniors only building. He told me only one died this year due to old natural causes, not COVID.
Well, I think most places didn't actually break out. Like, think about it. If the deaths primarily come from senior centers and everything gets locked down, then yeah, you're not going to have a whole lot of deaths because it's not reaching the vulnerable population, right? And that could maybe be one thing that can kind of explain the weird numbers we got, right? Well, I'm willing to risk a little bit more on this because of the way that I executed it. Dang. Yeah. Okay.
Kevin Wimmer says, is there a date when Biden is going to announce his vice president pick? Please, for the love of God, let it be Hillary Clinton. Barack Obama would be fun too, though.
I haven't heard a whole lot about that lately. I don't think that there's a specific date. Usually, when those sorts of things happen, it's kind of just out of the blue, unless you're like, you know, one of those types that just, visit Politico every hour. Okay. Well, how did that? Okay, I'm trying to look and figure out why is it. Mm, I guess I shouldn't have taken that second one up there.
Bots says no Gary this morning.
Luis Alarid says, I thought Mark Cuban was going to jump into the race.
Mark Cuban.
RJ Wheel says, usually right at or just before convention. Kevin Wimmer says, Hillary 2020. Poison Biden after he wins the election and somehow she still won't be president.
Right, exactly. There's no way they pick her. No way. Hmm. being a little bit more choppy here around the open than I thought. I thought that they would get to the open and they would just careen right through it.
Bot says counter trend period gave us 2 moves today, 1020 to 1027 and 1031 to 1040.
No, I didn't even notice. I did okay in the counter trend period. But you're right. If it's over, that might explain why they're behaving oddly here. But look at when the bulls get them. Which side is panicking?
Bot says basically retesting the prior session's low from below at 2786.00.
2786 was the previous low, and that's where we opened at. Oh. Interesting.
Kevin Wimmer says your server is also pretty silent. I remember much more action several months ago, especially in the crude and interest rate channel.
It's been a little quieter this week. There's been periods where it was really active and periods where it was not so active. And I think that we're just kind of going through this thing where, there's a lot of people are wondering if they really want to trade or not. You get a bunch of new people in and then they get wiped out in a day and they're like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. So I kind of think that's what's happening. Yeah, get them. So many pivots here around the 95 area too. There's going to be some continuation off of that, I think. Let's say 2800 is reasonable, 2810 is reasonable. What were our upside targets? 2820. Well, I don't know if I can hold it that far. But look, there was some.
Bot says 2820.85.
We might get there today, but it was probably going to be long after. And I've kind of been doing this thing where like sometimes I want to really watch it afterwards.
Hotado says, are you on a position?
I just got out of one. I just got out of a winner. I got out of the winner because there was a stop
Bot
run.
Says in 2853.44.
And they hit back. So I think what's going to happen here is you're going to get an inside bar, and then they'll continue up, and maybe then they'll get 2800 or 2810.
Kevin Wimmer says at bots, what do you mean with 1020 to 1027, like 820 minus 27 on the timer on Seth's stream?
Well, so what? Yeah. So he's talking Eastern time. Yes. So 2 hours different from what my screen is. The basically from 10:15 to 10:45 is this time period that we watch carefully. And he's saying that there was basically 2 moves in there. The second one was much stronger though, right? Okay, so you getting the volume there again? So overall, from a volume perspective, I think my exit was pretty good.
Bot says yes. I always use Eastern time when I post.
Yeah, we should be try and get in the habit of always using Eastern time. I try to always use Eastern time. Maybe I should just change my clock to be Eastern time or something. Change it to be Eastern time just for you guys, your sakes on the stream. I don't know. Or we could just add another clock to the screen down in the corner. Could have like world clocks down at the bottom. Can be Eastern time.
Kevin Wimmer says how Abbott using German time lol.
Well, we can have GMT on there. Okay, 2800. Yeah, it did it.
Fa Juve Hotado says I have all my clocks to est.
It looks like it played out exactly the way I thought it would. But look, there's still stuff going on here. It makes me nervous. Like, I don't know enough about the E-mini and how these sorts of things resolve themselves to really want to put the risk on. Especially since we did pretty good today. In the end. Well, I mean, like, we were positive before the...
Luis Alarid says I vote est.
Do we have... Oh, yeah, this is everything. Let's just do just these trades. Take the treasury one out of it. There we go. So basically to our target. See, like, we got all of those. We were in a good spot. And then I decided to let one kind of run. Now, it did go 16 against me. So that was a little surprising. But pretty good probability trade in the end. And I did have a bunch of fills in there. So
Luis Alarid says I am up over $1,000 per contract S.
Wow, really? I've had a couple of guys in the Discord show me some results that are like really impressive. So I got one guy, he made, I don't know what he's trading. He didn't say I think it's the ES, but he got $1,000 on one of them.
RJ Wheel says est.
But the thing that's crazy to me from this guy's results is that he took, like, his biggest loser was $9. So his profit factor is basically over 100.
Luis Alarid says actually 10 MES same.
Yeah, that's quite amazing. How did he do that?
Fa Juve Hotado says do you trade micro minis? Luis Alarid says trading MES better control risk add to runners.
Yeah, I think so. Trying to trade directionally is super hard. The way that we've tried doing it in the past can work, but it's probably not worth your effort. But if you can go into the E-minis and you can, like, just scalp it, and then when you catch one, add it to it and stuff. Yeah. Like that one that I caught, when it was in the green, I could have added to it and probably made 4 times what I did. The problem I have is that when I start adding to contracts, I put myself at risk of revenge trading. So I'm a little cautious about when I do that. No, you'll notice earlier I did one where I decided I was going to do scalps with 2s. And I caught it and I took a break. And then I was like, okay, you know what? I need to relax a little bit again. Because you're trying to... Oh, you're going to overdo it. So I waited, but I did get a good opportunity and took it.
Robimani says how many points you target for a trade?
Well, so the ones, yeah. So this is a good question, Roby. Can I go into something really complicated that I think will help you more? All right. Since you kind of, I haven't seen your name before, so I'm going to show you something that you probably haven't seen before that you might find really useful. All right. And we're going to add a ton in here. Okay, so we're going to add a chart on here. So these are 30-minute bars going back to like the beginning of the year. Okay. And I have this nifty little indicator. You can find it. I think it's in the free basic pack, but it's in the downloads channel on our Discord. And it is called the range histogram. We'll add the nice one on here. And we're going to make the histogram part of this really big, and we're going to adjust the scale so that no, that's not right. How do I want to be on the axes. I'll just do it this way. Okay. So what this is this is a histogram of range for ES, right? This right here, 70%. 70% of all bars. Right there, 40. Okay. 40. Okay. Look right here. 80. Then there's kind of this flat area right here between 100, 170. Okay. So what is this showing you? There's a fat tail to range, right? If it was a normal bell distribution, it would probably be like this, but it's not. When you catch a runner, there tends to be more of the runners than you would expect for what a natural bell curve would be. Hence a fat tail. Okay. What's the most common one down in here? Saying 9. There's a little drop off at 16 here. Right? So it kind of depends on what time frame you want to do it on, right? But here's a 30-minute time frame. That's like most day traders. Not going to hold it more than 30 minutes. Okay, that tells you some things, right? If you catch 40 ticks, hey, maybe let it go to 100 ticks, because that's not until it really starts to flatten out, right? Now let's go back and let's look at it if it'll let us on a 5-minute period. This will take a little bit to load. Okay, so on a 5-minute period, it is what? 4 ticks, right? 4 ticks, and the majority of them are between 16, okay? So if you want a short-term scalp, you're probably, the average true range is going to be around 16. So those are some numbers that you can use to kind of judge what you want your risk reward to be. And it depends on how, what kind of a trade you're taking and how much risk you want to take on, right? So if I want to be in for 5 minutes, but I really want to swing for it, then probably I need to give myself 16 ticks of risk, because just from the natural oscillations that you tend to get in the E-mini, it can go about 16 ticks against you. And when you come back and you look at your stats, what you're going to find is that your stats tend to hold to these very closely. See how this was, well, it wasn't the only one that I did that on, was it? Oh, okay. 16 ticks against me. It's like they know. The robots know, and they say, okay, I got a good scalp. I got 16 ticks. It's time for me to get out. And they get out. And then that's why it turns, and that's like the maximum it went against me in that case. If it had gone more than that, then I would know that I was, chances are I was on the wrong side. Sometimes you get lucky, but chances are you're on the wrong side at that point. So that's how you do it, okay? So what I was doing for most of the day has been saying, okay, I just want the smallest take I can get, which is about 5 or 6. So I'll get in places where I see clear momentum and some absorption against that momentum, and try and take it for the 6 ticks, essentially. And then I'm just risking equal amounts on the other side, and the objective there is to just have a really high win rate. We're not quite to a high enough win rate, but it is what it is. So I hope that you found that useful. I haven't been through that in a while, so I thought we would go through it.
Bot says, so you're saying the robots are looking to take out your sim trade stops?
Well, the robots can't see my sim trade stops because obviously I'm not putting them out there. I am trading the sim today. But they don't have to see my orders to know, right? They know where people tend to have taken it and are tending to take it against you. So you get in that situation, a bunch of people are going to get in that spot.
Yes.
The robots know that they want to push it this far. So, but I think they do. I think that the market, by its nature, it hunts like that. I think 29.20, 28.20 sounds like doable today. But maybe not until the close. This is the one where it's like, okay, so I really want to take the one like that one that I was in from what, 2787? Let's just say that we took it from the open because that was a little bit high. Let's say that we got 86. Okay, from the open to 28.20. But I bet you that at some point they're going to come back to that open. They're going to do something that would scare me out. They're going to do something that would scare me out, or they're going to take an adverse excursion that's more than I would be comfortable with.
Bot says, so using that logic, how do you develop an auto trader to place your entries in those areas?
Well, that's a good question, John. I think that the way that they do it probably requires processing power and resources that I don't have to figure that out. But I think the thing that I've been watching, the way that I've been trying to do it, is like, if I know which side is in control, they will let it come back like 3 to 4 ticks, and then they'll push it up 6. You'll see it a lot. So can you see it on this chart right here? How much is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then what? It goes up 10. And then it comes back 8. It goes 9, 8, 10, 12 that time. So they kind of know the oscillations. Now, if we came up from like this one down here, for instance, right? And I want to know where they're going to stop it. I have a hard time seeing it because those usually exhaust, I think. We could go back and watch again and see if they were exhausting. But this right here, that's what we're trying to see in the order flow. And we're doing an okay job at seeing it. Now, the issue is that sometimes you get this thing right here, right? Goodish. I bet you right there a lot of stops. This is the one that I can't figure out. Can you predict that? Right there. Can you predict that? I don't know if you can. It seems random to me. But that's kind of the one that we're talking about, right? How do you know when that's going to happen? Then you could fade it, I suppose. Anyways, I think that something that would help would be able to see stop orders, because if I could come in here and I could see no stops, no stops. Oh, look, stops right there. Then you know. And then when it comes back there and you know
FAUV
the stops,
Hotados
you
says
just
it
go
is
long.
random.
Then you can
FAUV
just go
Hotados
long.
says I do not remember the position window. Is it from NinjaTrader?
The position window. Oh, are you talking about this? This is from Jigsaw. It just shows you all the trades that we took today. As you can see, we came out on top, but let me show you the MES trades. That one was obviously much larger. But some areas where we did poorly too. Buy.
Luis
and they're all
Alarid
bad.
says 2,805.75 target S.
Well, it was 2820 was the volatility projection. I think they could do it. I mean, we really could have held that first one. We really could have held it, but it interestingly enough, played out exactly the way that I thought it would. I guess I probably should have tried to get back in again, but I don't know. I felt happy. 9 o'clock.
Bot says if the average of those smaller rotations is 2 points, you should be able to enter within 2 points of any of those upthrust tops in an uptrend on that chart of yours.
Supposedly, yeah. You just look at the top and go 2 points back and try and get in there. Yeah. But, you know, sometimes it's in a slightly different spot, but you can see it on the DOM, man. You don't even have to know how many points they're doing. Just look for it right here. It's right there. 2802. Do you see it? Okay. They're going to excurge just a couple of points. But that's kind of the spot you're looking for. See? It's just like, I guess what I was kind of getting at is there's a metagame to it. It's like, okay, this guy is trying to hold it, but then at some point somebody's going to come in and be like, well, I'm tired of you, Gadoosh. And he pukes and then it goes down. When does that happen? And sometimes you'll land into these markets where it's doing that all the time. It was doing that a lot yesterday, wasn't it? So there's kind of this, I don't know, metagame of trying to guess when that's going to happen or something. And everything that I've been doing today has been trying to avoid those. And now we did a better job than yesterday, but I'm still not happy with it. I thought that maybe having this snapshot column up here would help, but I don't think it did. So the amount that's being stacked or pulled at any one price away from it is just not significant enough, and I didn't barely even looked at it. In the treasuries, when that stuff happens, it's like obvious. But by the way, in the treasuries, the book is gone. It's been kind of messy around here, so they might get a bounce at some point. If the E-mini turned down, I think the treasuries would definitely bounce. I really should have won that one. I'm thinking back on it, like where I took it off. I'm like, no, I really should have gone for the 8. They go through the iceberg for 2 ticks a lot. Anyways, these spots that we see here, I call it reloading. Do you see a reloading at 2802.75? Now, of course, there's more to it than that, but that's the thing that if you wanted to do off the DOM that I would watch first. Because it shows you where the spots are without having to look on the chart. Yeah, see that one right there? They broke it. So when they break, then you get this thing where it's like, is it a reversal or a continuation? And I can't tell. Otherwise, I would just straight up buy that one on it breaking down. Like if I knew it was just a stop run, comes back to that price, yeah, heck yeah, you buy that. Anyways. Let's see what else we got going on right now. I don't understand. What are we looking for here? Oh, I saw it. They thought they got it. Oh, they got him. What's they're saying about stimulus? President Trump is open to a phase 4 coronavirus stimulus bill, but not the House Democrats' proposal. The earlier stimulus programs were, for the most part, supported on both sides of the aisle. As the economy works towards a reopening, there is less incentive to be all for one and one for all. After all, there is an election forthcoming, so the Democrats and Republicans will likely bicker more, including President Trump, of course. The Dems' $3 trillion relief package is considered dead on arrival in the Republican-controlled Senate. Yes. Although the initial headline said that the president is open to face for coronavirus stimulus bill, they are also saying that President Trump is taking his time to determine if the fourth coronavirus stimulus bill is warranted. So I guess part of the agree to disagree attitude is to say the president is in favor of a stimulus bill, but not in favor of it too. That's from 4X Live. Well, I'm not seeing anything a whole lot interesting anymore. I think that what's going to happen is we're going to have a bunch of trades here in the E-mini that are going to be really hard to pick that will eventually move us up to 28.20. That's where we should be looking to get. It seems to me like my performance was a lot better and that perhaps when the trading is easy, that tells you something. It tells you money is coming back into the market. Yesterday was an ugly day, but again, it's not necessarily guaranteed that it's like they kill it, you know? What should we call today's video? That spot at 2807 is interesting, right? 1,000 trading there. So that one you got to be a little aware of contextually that there's going to be people taking profits at the high and they can just blow through it, right? Especially with that 2810 is going to be such a strong magnet. Okay. So, anyways. Oh, yeah. You guys are probably seeing stuff and it's coming up over here, right? Uh-huh. For the newcomer, what is the best time to trade MES? Looks like huge volatility on after 3 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, so you can trade the last hour of it. If you're going to trade the last hour of it, I would recommend getting out before the 10 minutes to the close because there's a report that comes out that causes a lot of volatility. And yeah. But really the best time to trade is in the morning. The most opportunity is here early in the morning. Wake up early. Because when you get those economic reports and stuff like that, those are the best trade opportunities. And they're going. There's 2810. Yeah. I mean, I really could have. I don't know. What it could have. I think there's just this issue of dealing with the fat tail, essentially. Like I caught a fat tail. That's what that was. Could have held it all the way up here. Could have held that maybe to 2820, right? But it might be all day, and I didn't know if that was going to happen. I don't know. And then even then, it would probably got to be taking off at 2811. I'm not sure what the answer is on this, but this is something where I feel like there is an answer, and I just don't know it. So at least we know what we don't know. I don't know. What else here? So you use Ninja Trader and Jigsaw? Yes, but I place the trades on Jigsaw. Exactly. Okay. Well, I'm kind of like feel like that I'm missing something, but I think we're good. I think we can just stop for the day. It was a pretty good day. Oh well, we do need to give it a name. What's in a name? Everything. What should we call today's video? Reversal? Was a reversal. I don't know. Nothing would like terribly interesting in chat happen today. Oh, did you see that 1,000 there for a second? Yeah. Okay. What else? I could just not give it an interesting name. I could just give it like I couldn't come up with an interesting name for this video. I'm just gonna say strong sell reverses just because if you're watching this back, in a year from now, You want to see a day where it was really going down and there was a hard reversal. This would be a good video to watch. Well, anyways. Took my profits on the MES, letting my calls open. I don't know what's going to happen. See, here again is where it's like, it's going to do it the way, I know the way that it works. This is the issue. I know some things. I have a pretty good idea of how it's going to behave, but I don't necessarily always have a good answer for how to best take advantage of that. I'm going to bet you that they will make it to 28.20 today, but that they're going to pull back so hard first that everybody's going to think that they're going to turn back down. Of course, another scenario is that they do turn back down and they make it down to 27.55. Wait the stream for like 10 more minutes and do the CL settlement? Okay. Well, I will, because you asked so nice, Kevin, and you've been such a great viewer. We will watch the oil. So let's open that up. We got 10 minutes. Is there a tendency that it tends to do on this report? Or is it just like any other economic report? Or you just kind of have to look at the expectations and yeah. Because the yen is trading decent amounts again at 113.5. Yeah, pretty low volume days so far. There's no real economic report in the country. I'm noticing in the 10-year that you can definitely see where the bid and offer are. Right here, he moved it up a little bit. But then beyond here, it's the offers have it, so it comes back down. And when they came down here, it get all choppy again, so that switch. View the VIX this morning. Did it come back down hard? Oh, yeah. They opened up higher. They were pricing in a real sell. They really moved up, and then this buy that just completely collapsed. Well, I'll tell you what. The way that the buy happened, it's kind of interesting to me. That looked to me like somebody saved him. Note the turn at 10. Yeah. I wonder if we can still see it. I think we can. Oh, yeah. Do you see him right there? I know the text is small. And that was happening a lot down there. Right? So they totally came in. Excuse me. My lips are falling apart. They totally came in and bought it down there and prevented it from getting to the VIX volatility target. And then the sellers exhausted themselves and had to unwind. And the unwind took us back to here. Probably around here. Yeah. Took us back to here. And then when we got on the other side, everybody decided to switch and go long. And now up here at the top, do you see the thousands again? Here, here. Here. So I think what they do is they bring it all the way back down here, or maybe even to here, and then they go up to the high. Might be one way that they might do it. Like they're going to try and wash people out. Let's see here. 3 minutes. Okay. $26.62. So you're basically playing it on it mean reverting into the close. Yeah. Like 8 to 12 ticks. Oh, look at that big iceberg at 15. Oh my gosh. That's a big iceberg. That's got me nervous. Why would you put it there? If you were going to iceberg, why there? Surely you could get lower than that. Unless you're going to spike it. Okay, so maybe 71. Hmm. Well, that was pretty uneventful, Kevin. Treasury is all ticked down. E-mini is going. I want it. I want it. Yeah, this was limit 65 and wanted just a small up move. Spit low volume only went to 67. Yeah, okay. Interesting. That's not supposed to be how that works. That's more like it. Darn. Okay. Oof. Missed it. Should have chosen a better day, not rollover day. Yeah, it's fine. We can keep an eye on that. Oh, man. Well, that sucks that I missed that by one tick. But I had the right idea. Now they're deciding they're gonna mess with people some more, huh? This might, I don't know, that I would keep an eye on this because of that treasury trade, but I'm not quite sure what's going on. All right, but I think I will get going. So good day overall, despite that lose. I don't like to miss it, end on one loser, but oh well. That one was great. Oh, it would have been a good day. Oh well, we're good. We're cool. I will see you guys tomorrow. And in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.